That's right. There is a $10,000 reward that a local business here announced today. This is the first reward in this case that we're hearing about. As for the day here, a lot more quiet than it usually was. Not too many people gathering outside, holding those visuals that we've seen in recent days. However, there was a Bakersfield resident who made a special visit today.
And we asked you to reveal where these little guys are for their sake.
Street evangelist Tom Alexander is now the latest to make his way to California City to show his support for 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin. The two brothers were reported missing here on December 21st. Alexander walked the streets of Cal City, uttering prayers with a large cross. He made his way to the home where the boys were reported missing from.
Prayer works anywhere, but there's nothing like on-site praying, because you get to pray for people personally.
Neighbors say the home was vandalized Tuesday night with a front window now broken. While the search continues, a local cannabis shop says they will give a $10,000 reward to anyone who provides information that leads to the boys. But there's a question still lingering. Why haven't authorities searched the desert that surrounds the community? Cal City Police Chief John Walker suggested Tuesday that authorities don't believe the children are in the desert.
Right now, we're not going to spend the resources on that right now. We're concentrating on right here. And if something leads us to expand our search, we absolutely will.
Former Bakersfield Police Lieutenant Gary Carresco shared some insight on that portion of the investigation.
They must have specific information that leads them to believe that those boys didn't wander off into the desert.
Or get dumped there, Carresco would add. As for Alexander, he, like many others, hopes everything will be resolved soon.
In time, and hopefully soon, the truth will come out for the sake of the community.
And regardless of where authorities are in their investigation, whether their investigation leads them to searching the desert or not, the community here is certainly planning to do so. And in fact, residents told me that they're planning a search party at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And they say this coincides with actually a pretty big deal here. A lot of people, thousands, they say, come on New Year's Day and stay throughout the weekend to ride their ATVs and their motorbikes and to basically start, to basically camp out here. They said they want to raise awareness to those folks to
And a good evening to you. The United States House of Representatives.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? So we've got Orrin and Orson West, California City. They've been missing for 3 weeks. Now, I have not completely decided whether or not I want to delve into this or not. I do know that I did watch the interview with the parents, and as you guys know, I like to kind of play by play break those down as far as what I'm getting out of them. So that's what I've done with pretty much every case that has one of these where there's a parent or a husband or what have you being interviewed. We like to look at what we can figure out from that. Now, I would encourage you, there are quite a few channels right now that are following this case and giving detailed updates. I would encourage you guys to follow channels such as 10 to Life, Annie's channel, of course, as well as Duty Ron. Duty Ron had an incredibly insightful live stream earlier tonight that had 2 other seasoned police detectives giving a lot of insight as to what's probably going on with this investigation. So I would definitely encourage all of you, if you did not catch that live stream, to go back and catch the replay on that, because it was extremely insightful. So as far as the details of everything, like I said, I would encourage you to go to those other channels who are actually tackling this case head on. But I know that a lot of us are really questioning what's going on as far as the interview with the parents. Now, apparently, the dad said he turned his back, went to go get some firewood for the house, and little 3-year-old, little 4-year-old just disappeared. Now, here's the thing about that. Before I even get into the video, the problem I have with that story is one kid, maybe, right? This is why I suspect foul play right off the bat. One kid, maybe, but both of them, both disappearing at the exact same time. I don't buy it. I don't buy that being a coincidence. They didn't just wander off and get lost. There's just no way. And I think we all know this. Now, there's some behavior from these parents, and this behavior did not sit well with me, which is why I wanted to go over it with you guys tonight. I listened to it yesterday while I was at the gym. So I didn't pay a lot of attention to the body language or anything of that nature. Now, again, before I even get started on all that, sure, we could speculate on the body language, but keep in mind, people, none of us are body language experts. So, we can't just jump to a conclusion and start saying, oh, well, look at that, he's guilty. Because you know how much I hate that shit. Anybody who's been subscribed to me for a while knows I'm not a fan of that. So I do, if you don't know what you're talking about, again, speculate, but understand your realm of expertise, which is pretty much none. You're somebody who watches YouTube channels and watches the news, and that's about it. Same as me. No different. So, moving forward, I'm going to be knowing my role here, but I would encourage all of you to do the same. And again, if you want the detailed timeline and facts, I would highly recommend that you check out 10 to Life and what she's been doing with it, because she's been doing great, as she always does. So now I might do something later. I haven't really decided. It's funny. I was actually telling Annie that I might be doing this, and then she was like, "What would be a good idea if you?" And I was like, maybe. y'all know why. If I decide to do it and I explain it, we'll see. But let me say hello to everybody. I see Rob's Rules just jumped in here. What's up, my man? I caught a little bit of your live earlier. I definitely enjoy that dude's got a real pleasant disposition, man. It's real nice. It's a nice change of pace these days on YouTube, I gotta tell you. Sandra Martinez, T Proco, I guess. Miss R&B, sarcastic superhero girl, that girl, of course. Cindy Myers, Locomai. Dude, I'm telling you, every time I figure out a name, I get a new sub with a harder name than the last one that I just figured out how to pronounce. Always happens. T Barnes, Margaret Rainey, what's up? Bridget, how we doing? Hope you're feeling well. Lucky Me, Dawn Marie, Twisted T, Sean H, Courtney Mickle, Evelyn Arnaud, Jennifer Eggleston, Maggie McFetridge, Uniquely Limitless Smartinez, Melanie, Lufa, No Grit, No Pearl. All right. Wombat Dundee. Siren Jag, what's up, dude? BB Spooks, I guess. Yeah. Wow, a lot of new names in here, man. It's good to see everybody. I appreciate you joining. Sorry I don't have Uh, I know I got a lot of subs from that last live stream I did, and I appreciate that. But until somebody pisses me off that much again, we're just gonna stick to the same old going over some video stuff and going over and trying to go over some information on issues that I find that I feel need to be addressed. And there's a lot of political stuff going on, but I'm not even gonna fucking touch that shit with a 10-foot pole. Not right now, anyway. Maybe sometime. I don't know, but nah, not right now. All right, I'm gonna get to it. So, if I missed anybody, sorry. Cherry K, hello. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're just going to go over the video of this interview, because I remember I was listening to it and I was like, well, that's not what you just said. And, you know, it's funny. I'm only going to say this once, maybe. I don't know. I might say it again. But, yo, what I was listening to, I was looking at the Magoos of true crime suspect parents. Straight up. Like, now, again, we're going to give it a close listen tonight. Okay. We're going to give it a close listen, but I was hearing a lot of flip flopping and yeah, it's so, all right. Give me 1 second here. Let me get this thing going here. Let me get this thing going. Hold on, y'all. Yo, this slow ass shit. You know, not much, Oakleaf. I gotta tell you, man. It's good to see you. But, nah. Coffee and live streams, and maybe a little, you know, a little seasoning for the coffee, I should say, is all that I need for live streams. All right, so this is my internet is super slow. Hold on, people. Every time, I don't know, I got to figure something out because I'd be paying money for StreamYard, dude.
We just want to thank everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless, and seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot.
So, tell us what happened the night that kids went missing.
Okay.
From our yard.
It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house.
Now, before anybody starts with the whole his arms, he's in defense. We've seen this before. It's pretty common when somebody is defensive is they fold their arms, right? But the whole thing with that for me is, well, it's fucking cold. You know, it's cold. It's clearly cold there. So that's not something that I'm going to look too deep into. Now, the fact that he never, ever seems to take his hands from underneath his arms to keep him warm, like he doesn't make any type of hand gestures when he talks, nothing. They just always stay. So he seems like he's also not just cold, but in defense. In, you know, if I'm speaking in defense of the people who are stating that, making that that observation, I'm gonna have to say that I don't necessarily disagree, but it could be argued that he's just doing that because he's cold.
I open up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. Keep them close.
Now, something he just said right there. Why is it a good idea for the youngest two to go outside and play in the back patio? I mean, that's not, you know, I raised two kids. Now, they both had 6 years between them, right? But obviously, if I'm going to let one of them play, it's going to be the older one that I can tell, hey, you know, stay right here, stay in this area, don't move, right? I'm not going to tell the toddler to, you know, put the toddler out where there's a gate open, where this toddler is pretty fresh and knowing how to walk and is going to wander around. I'm not going to put one out there, much less two, to just wander around. So to me right there, that's already a red flag as far as their parenting, their judgment as far as parenting goes. Why the two youngest would you put in the position to where the two youngest who are the most curious and going to wander around and less likely to listen to you, the least likely to listen to you? So yeah, that doesn't sit well with me. That's just a poor parenting decision right there.
I was playing with chalk. I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them now. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them. So I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that didn't pan out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names.
Now, he already, here's the thing. He already sounds like he's speaking in defense of himself. He doesn't sound like this. Let me give the public, I'm in a position right now where I can address the public and give them any helpful information that could help our search for our children. I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing I'm on public trial right now. And so you guys got to know that I tried. I got my van. I started looking for them, blah, blah, blah. Not this is what they were wearing. I took my eye on them for 1 minute and I just can't figure out what happened. But, you know, this is what they were wearing. If you have any information, please, 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 please. I'm not hearing that at all. Not yet. But that's actually what I would be starting off with. I would be starting off with descriptions of the kids. And I would be addressing the God knows how many people watching those at least 3 different news stations. I see mics from 3 different news stations right there.
To a gentleman on the street on the other side of there, he didn't see me. So then I came home and I told my wife, we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We got to get going. So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us.
And her, you see her, she's like, yeah, exactly. That's it. Like, this is all weird. And guys, I never do this. Every time I'm usually the devil's advocate for the person that gives an interview. I'm always the one going, hey, pitchforkers, watch it. You don't know. Now, the truth is, again, we don't know. But usually I have a fair argument when it comes to those things. You know, I have a fair argument when it comes to a parent or a significant other missing or addressing the nation and then about a missing loved one. So I'm always like, you don't know that, you know. I've even gotten mad about it. But right off the bat, these two are giving me totally weird red flags. Everything is telling me this. I mean, but I don't even understand why this dude, you know, maybe they're just not very smart, you know, because I don't even understand why this dude is going to come out there in such a thin, long sleeve shirt. I mean, granted, it's long sleeve, but I know what type of shirt that is. That's what you wear. People wear that to work out. That's thin. It's so you don't, it's supposed to breathe. All right. Okay, yeah, let me turn this up.
The house so they can get a hold of us, and they had us just sitting there, and we wanted to keep searching, but everybody came out in droves, and I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching.
And here's an excuse. I mean, this is 2 minutes and 15 seconds in, and there's already an excuse. I wanted to come out and say thank you, but the police told us to stay inside.
And we appreciate it, and nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody, and that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
We really want to
And,
thank you guys.
please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops, call California, the city police department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be.
What does that mean? Why the disclaimer? Why the disclaimer? Our boys are gonna be rambunctious, you know. Fair warning. If you come across our kids, watch it because they're gonna be rambunctious. I mean, maybe that's not what he meant. I don't know, but that's super weird. It's a very weird thing to say, is it not? Call the police, guys. Call the police. If you see anything, call the police. Now, they're going to be rambunctious, my boys. What does that even mean? So strange to me.
Be here in this area, and I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry. If you got any questions.
That's actually an excellent point, Dawn. Maybe they have bruises. But the thing is that would also imply that they're somewhere out there on their own, you know. So maybe he's trying to explain bruises that they might have already, but yeah, and God forbid. Well, no, you're right. It does not actually imply that. Now that I'm thinking out loud here, yeah, I feel like, you know, if they are found with bruises or something, he's trying to somehow explain that. But that's just a theory. It's a decent theory. So if I see one that kind of catches my eye as I'm looking at chat, and I don't look at chat much when I'm live, I usually watch a replay and then look at chat, but if I see a comment like that, I'm going to address it if I think it's a decent theory. Wait, one has a broken leg. Is that true? Can anybody confirm that one of them has a broken leg? I don't know if that's true or not. Okay. People are saying yeah. All right, so what the hell is he doing with a broken leg? And why are they playing outside? Yeah, I hadn't heard that yet either. Or a fractured knee. A fractured knee. Dude, you can't walk with a fractured knee. You can't. So how does that... Dude, I don't mean to laugh, but that's the most ridiculous shit in the world if this dude thinks that we're going to believe that a toddler with a fractured knee just decided to get up and roam away. That doesn't make any sense at all. All right, let's keep going.
You're good.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it.
And
for you guys,
and why hasn't he mentioned that yet? That's what I want to know. Why hasn't he mentioned that yet? Oh, okay. Thank you, Don Marisi. That makes more sense. He had a broken leg when he lived with the bio mom a year or so before. So who knows what was going on in that house? Who knows why she gave him up for adoption? I did watch an interview with her where she's like, I'll take him back. I've got a job now. I've got a place. I can take care of these kids. So, again, that's something that's up to the courts. We don't know anything about any of these people. At least I don't anyway. A lot of you have been following this case a lot closer than I have. But yeah, this is so far I'm 3 minutes and 20 seconds in, and I do not like the focus of these parents right now, because the focus seems to be on themselves. The focus seems to be on their whereabouts and not on even, I would be thinking out loud. I'd be in a mess if my kids were missing. I feel like I'd just be sitting there going, I don't know, maybe, if neighbors have seen anything, please contact me, contact the police, anything. I'd be begging. But this guy's giving excuses and alibis already 3 minutes in, it sounds like to me.
We were thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved. We just spoke to the biological mother. She says she had a conversation with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved, that she thinks you guys did something.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
Now they're saying that's understandable. That's understandable, right? But I wonder what's going to happen next. Now, I don't remember exactly, but now what we've seen before, I remember doing this with Letitia Stock's interview in the Gannon Stock case. And Letitia Stock, what she ended up doing was trash talking Landon, the mom. That's where she went. So I'm curious if they're going to try to do that. If they're going to try to blame the mom, the biological mom, after the biological mom says that she suspected foul play, if they're going to somehow throw shade on her here.
Understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly the point. And if we can find our babies, then guess what? That's no. And that's all I want, is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry, because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children, and we named them, and they are our children. And so
now that could be taken two ways. That could be taken like they're throwing shade on the biological mom, saying, we named them. You know what I mean? Or it could be taken like, hey, understand, we're taking this as seriously as you are because we gave them their names. We name them. That's how much we love them. So it could be taken either way, in my opinion.
We want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys were doing, we should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech. So they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's part of the investigation.
I feel like he caught himself there, though, right? I feel like he was like, they took all of our tech, but and they got to do it to rule us out, and that's part of the investigation. I feel like this dude follows true crime cases. I do. I feel like he does. Because he's very well spoken. He's very calm. And he seems to be openly empathetic with law enforcement. Like he wants law enforcement on their side. Which is smart.
So that's pretty much it.
Have you guys you talked to police?
Why is that pretty much it? Why is that? Still no description of them. No, hey, this is what calms them down. This one's on this type of medication. This one, there's none of that. There's nothing that's like, I need you guys to see my boys as human beings and miss them as bad as I do, as best as I can. I need to get you guys to understand how hardcore we miss them and how bad we want them back. And this is so important that you know these things about them. But so far, none of that.
Last night.
Yes.
What? So you guys willfully gave them your
Everything.
technology,
Yes.
the car.
Yes.
How did they get a search warrant? Did you
I
guys?
I,
no
I don't see
idea.
why they got one.
Now they're just straight up focused on this dude's defensive position. Now again, could just be that he's cold, right? I mean, it could just be that he's cold. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. Because now again, you got to look at if we're thinking, outside the box and we're, looking at everything here, news stations want to sensationalize stuff. Now, the news station that interviewed Shane Carey in the Heidi Broussard case, he turned out to be completely innocent of anything, but they totally painted him out to be something that he was not. So, this again, they want to sensationalize these things. That's the media's job. You can't blame a rabid dog for being rabid. You know what I mean? It just is what it is.
But they got one.
Yeah,
We would
they
have let them
didn't
take
need one,
anything.
but
We would have let them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that.
What did they take?
Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones.
From the house? What did they?
Oh, well, all right, I guess, should I answer that? Or?
Answer it does, yeah.
Okay. So into the okay, and I guess I don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did. Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put. They have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time in there.
He had sitting down. We would ask him, we go help.
Why do they keep going there? Why do they keep going there? Why do they keep talking about what, we're just doing what the cops are telling us to do? Why do they keep saying that? Why do they well, the cop told us to stay put, so we stayed put. Nobody's asking them anything about that. Nobody yet has gone, why aren't you out there looking for them? They're just giving excuses as to why they're not so far.
They had to sit
He
down.
said, nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
We
it's
need
not.
you guys here in case we have more questions.
I don't want you guys to think.
Everything's an excuse as to, everything's an excuse. An excuse for what? Nobody's challenging them in any way, shape, or form. They just were given a platform right now to address the entire city, and truthfully, the entire country, at least, because here I am on the other side of it from where they are, going over this stuff, talking about this. Now, the thing is, you know, the swaying and the hands tucked underneath the arms, that could just be, like I said, it could just be that they're cold. You know, they're standing out there in the cold. And the fact is they're on TV. When you're on TV, man, you know, I would imagine you get nervous. I get nervous every time I go live still. You know, I just do.
We
don't.
didn't try. We actually
We
looked
tried.
before we called
We
the
looked,
police.
yes.
And I imagine the mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are they?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing? And at what time were they reported missing to the police?
It's about, I believe, I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said,
5-ish.
5-ish. That's about it. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
After we searched
Yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search.
Okay.
It was within minutes.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, you know, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own
Me. Right there. What do you want people to know? What do you want the people at home to know about this situation? This situation being your 2 small missing boys who are only old enough to make instinctive decisions, not conscious decisions, but instinctive decisions. Because their consciousness is still in development. I'd be scared out of my mind thinking that my child in that position, you know, in that stage in their life, any stage in their life, but that particular one, that would be going through my mind so much. How scared they must be. Just how afraid. Having no idea where they are, what's happening to them. Are they alive or dead? Are they suffering? Are they hungry? Are they cold? This is all I'd be thinking about.
You know, their own conclusions. They don't know anything.
There we go. Hold on. Here we go. Remember Letitia Stock, people? Remember that? Remember Letitia Stock? What do you want the people at home to know? Well, you know what? People are going to think what they're going to think. All of a sudden, right away into defense. Right away into defense. Well, people are going to think what they're going to think, you know, but they don't know. They don't know.
I mean, everybody's making their own, you know, their own conclusions.
It's assumptions. It's okay. I have trouble with words sometimes too, honey. It's assumptions. Conclusions it works too.
Don't know anything. We're not sure like everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them or anything, please call the police department.
Like, look at how much time she spent on that. If anybody's seen anything, call the cops, I guess. Right? That's that's basically what I got out of that. You know, this whole time, people are going to think what they're going to think, blah, 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 blah. People are going to make their own conclusions. And, if you see them, hey, call the cops.
Are you willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
They, I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay.
A lot of people are speaking of this as, after the math, past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each
They're
other.
kids.
They're kids.
Why that? Why is that the only thing they're thinking of? Why is that the first thing that comes to his mind? Why not, he loves his blanket. The older one loves his blanket. The littler one loves this particular toy. Mac and cheese is their favorite food. The one dances to this song whenever I play it when I'm in the kitchen. We're not hearing any of this shit. We're just hearing that they're rambunctious and they love to wrestle and they could hurt each other. That makes no sense to me that this is what's coming to their head.
Of course, they would love to go out, but so during the pandemic, we wasn't trying to go, out here. And so we stayed inside.
But you didn't, though. But you didn't stay inside. You just said you put them out on the back porch to play. The two smallest ones. Out of the 6 ones that they got, out of the 6 kids they got, they took the 2 youngest and said, hey, sit out here and play while I go get firewood. Right? Darling Nikki, I agree with you. A lot of the people in the chat agree with you too. Yes. So what this guy just got caught in a lie. They're not going out in the pandemic. No way. So we stay inside. He just said that we stay inside. But you just said you didn't even say they wandered outside. You said you put them outside to play.
Yes, we did. We searched before we called the cops.
Why the defensive answer? Now, it's possible, just again, to play devil's advocate here, they've probably been asked that 100 times that same day, God knows how many times prior to that. So sorry, give me a second. Yeah, I was thinking that too, Annie. I was thinking that too. Let me see if I can highlight your statement here. Yeah, this Annie says, I'd love to know when they seized the tech, what the date is of the most recent photo of the boys on their phone. I'm guessing months old. Probably. Again, because we're not seeing an indication whatsoever in these 2 people that they really cared about the things that those children care about. And the type of parents that take pics of their kids and post it all the time are, they understand. They know these things that I named. They know their favorite foods. They know their favorite toys. They know their favorite TV shows. They know their favorite comic book characters. They know all these things about them. But yet we don't know anything. These are the people that we're supposed to depend on to know these things about them, in case, the slim chance that we happen to see somebody with these kids and one of these things just happen to be something that we notice. I would be giving any little detail about these children.
That's what you're saying.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, on those streets over there. I said, did you see some little black kids? And that way looking for them? That's the way I was going.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Andrea's saying that she thinks that Annie was implying that they've been gone for months, but I mean, I don't know. I again, Annie's the one who knows all of the details of the case. So if it's possible that they have been missing for months, then yeah, I don't know. I need to know more details on the case to be able to agree with that. I just,
when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
Okay, so now there's an argument going on because whoever this person is, it could be, I don't know if it's the biological mom, I don't know if it's the aunt. I think she said something about my nephews or something to that effect. Somebody did. But this community is in uproar about this. They have gotten together and put together a total of $100,000 so far in reward money for these two kids for any information that leads to finding them. So, I mean, $100,000 is nothing to shake a stick at, especially if it was pulled together by the community. So this community wants answers. They want to know what's going on. Now, the little bit that I do understand is they obtained a search warrant from their house. If you watch Duty Ron's live stream from earlier tonight, there was a police officer, a former police officer there, former detective, and he mentioned that unless they had probable cause, unless they suspected something, there would have never been a warrant executed. They need to get a judge to sign that warrant, and that warrant, and the only way to get a judge to sign that warrant is if they have probable cause to search the property. Now, I don't know if that probable cause would be, well, there's just kids missing, but I'm guessing that the overall reason for that, even if they had, because later on you'll hear them say something like, I don't know why they got a warrant. I would have just let them search the house. Sure. But my guess is the reason for that is they already did suspect them, and they don't want their attorneys down the line, if they go to trial, to have any argument in that department saying, oh, well, they searched our house without a warrant. So they went and got a warrant to cover their tracks, I believe, because again, guys, when you have a criminal investigation and they suspect foul play, they've already been very, very clear and said that they suspect foul play in this case. Now, when you have that, cops are looking to obviously find the whereabouts of these children. That's first priority. But second priority, if there's foul play involved, is to get a conviction, not an arrest, a conviction. An arrest means nothing if you cannot convict them in court. So that is the police's job. Law enforcement's job is to gather evidence that will lead to a conviction, not an arrest. So we have to keep that in mind when we're sitting around going, why haven't they been arrested yet? Why haven't they been arrested yet? What's going on? You have to keep that in mind. They have to gather evidence, and the idea is to get an airtight case for the DA.
Two people to go in the house and leave two kids out here by themselves. It should have been one parent going in and one parent right here watching the child, not two parents going in the house and leaving two little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard. And the back gate was open.
Out the backyard.
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood from this lot here.
So you guys been unresponsible and left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
And she's making a good point. That's just irresponsible. I mean, it just is. You could sit there and but why isn't he riddled with guilt when hearing this, when confronted with this? Why is he defensive? Why is he not sinking his head and going, you're right, I can't believe I did that? He's just barking back at this person that's saying, hey, that's just plain irresponsible parenting, and you need to take accountability for that. And he's not doing it at all. He's admitting to what he did. Sound familiar from the other night? He's admitting to what he did, but he's not actually taking accountability for his actions, is he? Just because you're admitting to what you've done does not mean that you've taken accountability for what you've done. So This is my issue with these people, and I think that's everyone's issue right now. Now, before I continue, a really good point was brought up. Now, Duty Ron had a SVU detective, a New York, like real life Detective Benson, man, straight up. He had her on panel, and she was saying, you know, what about the biological dads of these kids? So she wants to look at everything. Now, when she mentioned that, I thought of something, and I don't know what the law is in California, but again, right away, I try to think of motive when it comes to the biological dads. If there's two different ones, well, then they would have to be in cahoots, and that would make it a conspiracy, which I'm not ready to even go down that road. But a motive for a biological dad is if they are still required to pay them child support, and to get out of having to pay child support. So that's one theory right there, but I'm not putting a lot of weight in that. Not at all. Because again, that would contradict anything that we're looking at here as far as behavior from these two. And there's just too many red flags just in these 13 minutes, and we're 9 minutes in, people. So there's just too many red flags. Another thing, as far as these two are concerned, when I think of motive, the first thing I think about when I think of motive, money. The answer to 99 out of 100 questions, money. So I try to figure out how they monetarily benefit from these children being gone, right? So I know that here in Tennessee, I don't know how it is in every state. I don't know if it's like that in California, but apparently they have 6 kids, right? But the system or the state will assist you if you qualify and you have up to 4 kids. Now, I don't even know if they qualify. I don't know what's going on. From what I saw in the house looks like a pretty nice house, in a slightly more rural area than most places, but it looks like a nice house. So I don't know what their income is like. I don't know anything about that, but I do know that if they have 6 kids, and they are seeking assistance from the state to take care of these kids, well, they're only going to take care of 4. That's the limit. After 4, you're on your own. So I know that's how it is here in Tennessee. So that could be motive. I don't know. Again, I'm just spitballing here, people.
All right. Sorry, you guys were talking.
And yes, Cindy, that's a good point. Selling them would be a monetary reason as well. There is the possibility of trafficking. I'm not ready to go there yet. All I know is these two are full of shit. That's all I know. I don't know. I don't even know what they're guilty of, but I know that they're up there straight up lying. That's what I know. That's something nobody's going to be able to tell me different. These two are definitely hiding something.
Your boys who you're, I understand. For a mother, a mother's intuition. I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just roam around. These patches. They definitely.
Now remember, her husband, the dad, just got through saying how rambunctious they were. But here's the mom saying, no, they're not. And yeah, darling Nikki, yeah, I'm not seeing any emotion from them at all. I agree with you there. I'm not seeing any emotion from them. They're both way too calm. Not only are they calm, but they're extremely defensive. Every answer is somehow in defense of themselves.
I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off of the yard
Nope.
before?
No,
Nope.
They've never taken off.
no.
You guys are new to Cal City, right?
Yep.
Yeah. If it's cold, it's a good point right there. Somebody said no spousal comfort either. Mrs. R&B said no spousal comfort either. If it's cold, why aren't they holding each other? You know, I would be holding my wife close to keep myself warm, to keep her warm. Please, just please, any information that you have, please. But they don't even look like they like each other. I mean, what's up with that?
How long have you guys been living here?
3 months.
It's crazy because y'all say y'all came out looking for the kids and y'all got neighbors that say y'all ain't even came out looking for no kids.
The neighbors weren't out here.
We were looking.
We were looking.
I'm just saying, bro, it's crazy, bro. I got kids of my own.
Where do you live?
Them little boys that y'all raising, them is my biological family.
I understand,
I
bro.
don't leave kids
Oh, no,
outside.
And I understand.
I have 9 kids. I have 9 kids.
There's outside in
no
the backyard
way
that I was
I'm gonna
watching.
leave my kids unattended. Not even.
These are just members of the community. They're not even family. And they're straight up saying, dude, there is no way. This is something I've never seen, guys. This is something that I've never seen so far. I have to make this observation because when watching these interviews where they're addressing the public because their children are missing or because a family member is missing, I've never seen the people of the community sitting there calling them out on their bullshit live on TV like that. I've never seen that. I've never seen the community be like, motherfucker, So, guys, if you're having reservations right now about believing them, don't worry. Nobody believes them.
4-year-old, like you sit here.
We get that. We get it.
They were in the
We
backyard.
feel
You
it.
don't even look like you worried,
But
bro.
you said the
I've been going
He's standing there calm as hell talking about, you don't even look like you're worried, bruh. Like, what? And he's right. They don't look in the slightest bit concerned for where their own children are. And now, if anybody's sitting there going, oh, well, they're adopted, maybe that's why, bullshit. People adopt kids for 2 reasons, mainly 2 reasons, right? Now, not adopt, but foster, right? They foster kids because they get paid for it, or they foster kids because they have a good heart and they want to take kids in and give them a chance that they couldn't get in the environment that they were born in. So this is a very, very common thing, but it's always some form or another of those 2 reasons, right? Now, adopting kids, that's another thing. But if let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. They adopted these 2 kids because they love these kids and they wanted to take care of these kids and they wanted to give them a second chance at life because they weren't getting the care that they were getting from the biological mom. I don't know that situation necessarily, but they said, we're going to raise these kids as our own. But that takes a special kind of love. In my opinion, that takes a type of love that goes beyond biological. It's a different kind. Now, there's that natural instinct to take care of a child when they're biological, but there's an instinct that you develop when you're like, we want to take kids in and we want to take care of them. The reason why you take them in is because you want to take care of them. You want to teach them right from wrong. You want to protect them. You want to give them the opportunity, provide them with the opportunity to make the world their oyster. You know, you want to do that. And this is not, we're not seeing that type of affection for these children from these people. Are we? From this couple, we are not seeing that.
Y'all know y'all finna go inside the house, right? Y'all are foster parents, right?
No,
Okay,
we're
well, y'all
adopted
adopted them,
Yeah,
right?
they are
Okay,
children.
shut the gate. Go in the house. Why did it take both of y'all?
Shut the gate. Shut the gate. Why, again, and I'm going to keep making this point. This is what, why let the two small kids be the ones that you let play outside? Why leave the two smallest kids unsupervised of any of the kids? Why leave the gate open irresponsibly when they're the two smallest kids and they're so rambunctious? None of it makes sense. None of it makes any sense. Okay, other kids were at the grandparents' house. Fair enough. But that doesn't take away from my point. You know, why would you let the two smallest kids who can't take care of themselves play outside unsupervised? That makes no sense at all. Whether the other kids are at the grandparents' house or wherever, why you don't let them out of the house? They're the two smallest ones.
Go in the house and leave them outside by themselves.
I understand.
And y'all know the gate was
Why
open.
haven't y'all been out with the people around the neighborhood looking with the kids?
Because we already told on camera.
I see y'all on no cameras last night. I didn't even see y'all out here praying with them people. Them people was out to take care of my nephew. Not supposed to happen.
Okay, so she's the auntie. Okay, so she's the auntie. Probably the sister of the biological mom, if I had to just guess. I don't know.
Y'all was supposed to take care of my nephew.
I understand.
If anybody's watching at home who knows anything, or if somebody who has these kids,
And I hate saying it, man. That's so fucking magoo, dude. That's so magoo of these people to sit there and be like, you know, yeah, I understand. I get it. I get it. The only difference is they don't have the nerve to sit there and go, I don't know what else you want us to say. I don't know what else you want us to do. They don't have the nerve to do that. They have enough sense to be like, okay, let them vent. Sure. But that's about it. That's about it. But they're not giving any comforting words at all whatsoever. They should be the ones that people are empathizing with. They should be the ones that people are like, oh my God, these poor people. Look, I mean, what's going on? I mean, their kids are missing. They must be so scared. Accidents happen. Okay, you left the gate open. Accidents happen. The problem is that everything leading up to that gate being open makes dick of sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Right? So that's why this neighborhood, this community is going, no, dude, I'm not buying it. And you're standing there acting like you don't even care.
Your message to them.
The message has always been, as soon as possible, call the California City Police Department, and please bring our babies home. And that's that.
That's one of the reasons why we actually didn't want to do
This is the reason why. Because we
family.
were under orders to stay in the house and stay because they're going to need to contact us.
See, so that's why we didn't want to do this, because y'all were going to act shitty towards us. We didn't even want to do this because we knew that you guys were going to be mean. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Gives a fuck about how you feel right now, unless you give us a reason to give a fuck about how you feel. I would love to give a fuck about how you feel. You're just not giving me any reason to give a fuck about how you feel. I would love to do that.
And we cannot go outside, and that was the issue. We were under orders by the cops
Excuses.
to stay home in the house. And
Excuses.
Let
Excuses.
professionals look.
But you just said that they were your children. If they were your children, regardless of what somebody told you, wouldn't you want to go look for them?
Well, we have cops actually posted in the front door right there.
How cold it is at night?
We
totally understand. If you guys actually have that question, you should ask the police officer.
They just said, do you know how cold it gets at night? Not fucking, oh my God. The thought of my child being that small and out in the cold would devastate me. I wouldn't be able to handle that thought in that situation right there. That would burn me alive. I couldn't handle it. And these guys, yeah, dude, hey, we get it. Yeah, it's cold. We get it. That's the vibe, man. What's going on with that, dude?
But you see how it seems that,
Yeah.
that the kids was left unattended. You guys went in the house and then the kids disappeared. How did they disappear?
Exactly, and that's the way we try to figure out.
No, it doesn't make sense. How did they disappear? How did they go out? You guys had the house supervised already. And my question is, why were they the only two children out? Where were the rest of the kids?
These kids went with grandma.
With who?
They left. They went on vacation.
So they didn't.
No, because they're too young. We didn't. We watched them, and it turns out that happened.
How did the
All right, guys, sorry, I know.
They're older.
Just really quickly before we forget, first and last name, spelling of both for both of you guys.
So, said it again.
Just first and last name.
Spelling of who or what?
Or just your first and last name.
Our names.
Trezell West
Jacqueline
is
West.
Trezell West.
Okay, and for you?
JACQUELINE.
I'm sorry, one more time.
JACQUELINE.
Okay. West.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we'll let you go.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
No.
Those neighbors are so pissed, dude, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Yo, I was mad when I was watching that yesterday, or when I was listening to it anyway. I was mad when I was listening to it, and I was at the gym working out, and then right now, like, that shit made me even more mad. Like, if there's anything I learned in the last, I don't know, year and a half or so, it's when you hear somebody constantly making excuses, they're probably full of shit. Like, I didn't see nothing that any indication whatsoever that they were actually interested in utilizing this community that's come together and then having a news, at least three major news sources, or at least local news sources, but at least three of them to your disposal to where you could address everyone and say, I need your help. Here's a picture. They didn't even have a picture. I had pictures in my phone, but, you know. Like, I mean, think about it. Even though she says, well, I have old pictures, but the new pictures are in my phone and the cops took it. Okay, fair enough. But why didn't you bring the old pictures out? Even though they may not look like that anymore, I'd be like, this is all I got because the cops have my phone, because they're looking for anything that they can to locate my children. But I mean, they've grown a little bit since here, but this is what they look like. Just look at how sweet they are. At least just look at how sweet they are. Help me, please. We didn't get none of that. We didn't get none of that. So I'm not saying that they did something to those kids. I'm just saying they're shitty parents. They got no business being parents. Because I'm not seeing anybody who really loves those kids and made just a terrible slip up. I mean, that does happen. There are parents that adore their kids. There are parents that adore their kids and they turn their back on their kid for 1 second if something happens to them. And then they tear themselves up. They beat themselves up. I get that. It happens. And it honestly doesn't make you a terrible parent. When it happens, accidents happen. Sure. But I'm not even getting the indication that they cared enough for their kids. Because when you care about your kids and you leave a gate open and you think that that's how they got out, if I think that that's how they got out, I'd be sitting there like shaking and crying like fuck. Because not only do I not know where my kid is, it's my fault and I could have prevented it. If only I could go back in time just and change just 1 minute. If only I could do that. I didn't get any sense of any of that from either one of these. Now, I know that there's surveillance footage. I know that there's all these other things. And I don't know how deep I'm going to get into this thing. I'm definitely going to be following it, but I don't know how deep I'm going to get into this thing. But you definitely want to follow 10 to Life, because 10 to Life is already deep into this. And I'm doing this tonight for two reasons. One, because when there are these type of interviews of cases that I'm following and that I care about, then I like to talk about. I like to go over my reaction on these interviews. These are usually my initial. This is usually what I'm usually introduced with is interviews with the parents or the spouse or whatnot when these things happen. So I'm probably going to get into it. I don't know, but the other reason is because when things like this happen, it's better when more people are talking about it, bringing more awareness. So for any of you that is subscribed to me, but not subscribed to 10 to Life or Duty Ron, or It's a Crime, I think is even covering it. You need to spread the word. It's really important because the hope is to find these children safely. But the problem, guys, we've seen this before, and I hate to say it, but it's been 3 weeks, and the longer time goes on in these cases, it's the worse it looks. So I don't know. I'd be a liar if I was saying that I was more optimistic than just suspicious, because we're seeing too many familiar things here. We're seeing too much of the Gannon stock case here, is what I'm seeing. It's also been compared to Chris Watts' case, which is not. It's not an unfair comparison. If you look at the body language of this dad and Chris Watts, Annie actually pointed that out to me in a text, and that's definitely not something to overlook. There's definitely similarities between this dad and Chris Watts. You're hearing a lot of the same things too, like, you're seeing this and you're hearing, just want them back. I just want them back. That's it. no real way to answer any real questions. Just, I just want them back. If you know anything, call the police. I just want them back. I wish I had. I wish I could honestly say, guys, that I have a lot of high hopes and expectations that those children will be back home safe. I do have high hopes, but I'm not going to lie and say that I have high expectations of it. Melanie, I agree with you. They did not, in the slightest bit. Yeah, I mean, searching for 6 minutes, dude. I mean, yeah, like I only went over the stuff in that interview. Like if you if you go to any of these other channels, man, they go over all these details through and through that make you go, this doesn't make sense. 6 minutes, dude. My man, it's cold. That was the vibe I got from this guy. Like, hey, yeah, it's cold. You know, dude, your kids are cold, probably, man. Kids are cold. And if they're so cold that you got to go out and get firewood, why the hell are you putting them outside? And Brand says, I feel like they sent the older kids to the grandparents' house so they wouldn't be there to answer police questions. Who sends their kids away 4 days before Christmas? That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Now, maybe they were planning on going there for Christmas and spending Christmas there, you know? So who knows what their Christmas plans were? That could be completely irrelevant, but yeah, I mean, why were my whole thing is all, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's like this. So the dude's story is that he turned his back for a couple minutes, left the kids sitting outside, right? And left the gate open. And he's trying to come off like, well, they're just rambunctious, right? So they're rambunctious, and that's the reason. So that implies, it implies that he's trying to kind of make us think that they could have just wandered off, right? But why both of them? That's my whole thing. One kid, maybe I understand, but two of them go missing. Both of them go missing. And nobody in the neighborhood saw them. Like, you're going to tell me, I mean, that looked like a pretty well-populated neighborhood. There was a lot of people out there ready to confront those two. And you're going to tell me not one witness saw something as strange as a small child wandering around the neighborhood unsupervised. Now, it could be they wandered out of the gate and somebody just happened to see an opportunity, but in a more populated area, I could see that. But in a very rural, somewhat populated neighborhood, but the neighborhood seems like a very tight-knit community, does it not? Am I crazy? Unless, I mean, what are the chances? If somebody's just trolling around one of these types of neighborhoods looking for maybe a small kid that's wandering around and goes, oh, jackpot, there's two of them. Let's get them in my vehicle. That doesn't make sense. I mean, that's the chances of that. And then there's just the fact that we just watched these two people lie for 13 minutes. Is there anybody here that thinks that this couple isn't lying? Right. That's the thing. Like I said earlier, Melanie, I agree with you there. Because that's the thing. I would be freaking out. I'd be freaking out as to where are they, not knowing where they are, but I'd also be freaking out with the guilt. I'd be in tears running down my face. Now, some people react differently. Sure, I get all that, but not even at no point did one of their voices shake. At no point did one of them go, just please. Shit, man. Even Mrs. Magoo last night had enough sense to act like she gave a shit. The last time I went live, she at least had enough sense to act like it. I wasn't buying it. Nobody was buying it. They were clearly full of shit, but these two didn't even try. Like, that's the thing, is I don't feel bad for them. Normally, I would feel so bad for a pair of parents that I'd be like, oh my God, these poor people. I'd be like, oh my God, these poor people. Somebody help them find their kids. And here I am feeling for the biological mother who at some point gave those kids up for adoption. And we're seeing more emotion from the person. We're seeing so much emotion. If you watch that one video, maybe I should pull that up. But you watch emotion, you see emotion coming from her, and she gave her own kids up. Now, she may have had whatever reasons. I'm not judging her for that. What I'm saying is, the one person you would expect to see the least emotion from, based on what we know, would be her. I mean, is that unfair? I was sensing a lot of guilt, Melanie, from the bio mom. Yes, absolutely. Let me see. I know I've got that in here somewhere because I watched it yesterday. Yeah, dude, and ever since I pulled this up, dude, there's so many YouTubers that are like, their headlines for this when they cover this, they're like, more lies. The parents are lying. People just got their minds made up, man. They've got their minds made up about them. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let's watch the bio mom.
At 11, I'm Alex Bell in for Jessica Harrington. And the search continues for 2 toddlers from California City who were reported missing on Monday night. And now the FBI is involved in the search as well as the Kern County Sheriff's Office. 3 and 4-year-olds Orrin and Orson West, who are on your screen right now, they were reported missing around 5 p.m. yesterday. A search warrant was served at their foster parents' house today in Cal City, and the foster parents are still at police headquarters as of Tuesday answering questions. Cal City police say that the parents
Now,
are
real
being
quick, did anybody else notice that these so-called parents of these children never once said their names, never once addressed these children by their names, that they named them? They gave them their names. How valuable is that to them when they don't even bother to give them their names? Not even like you would, dude, if you had a missing dog that you loved, you go, this dog answers to this name. Even an owner of a missing dog that cares about their dog is going to go, this dog answers to this name. These parents wouldn't even say their own children's name that they are bragging about naming them.
cooperative and that law enforcement is not giving up on finding the toddlers. Police also say investigators are doing forensics exams on items taken out of the home today, and a search team that gathered by the house today spent hours looking for both of the boys, and the community is scared, confused, and angry, and so is the biological mother of both boys.
They've been missing since 5 p.m. yesterday, which is, I don't understand. I don't understand.
This woman looks like she's been crying all night.
Dean says that imagining her boys are gone is a nightmare. She says that she misses them every day and is heartbroken that she isn't involved in their lives. Dean hopes that her children are okay and that she will be able to see them again.
If they find my kids, can they just give them back to me? Whatever I have to do to work on it, to get them. I have a home, I have a car, I have a job, I have money. It's nothing to provide for them. I come from a good background, as you can see, and I don't understand. I just want my babies. If they find them, just give them back to me, please. That's all I want.
Dude, like, she sounds like she's just begging God or whoever, just give me a second chance to take care of these babies. I will do whatever it takes. I've got a home. I've got money. I got a job. I've got a vehicle. I've got what it takes as far as the minimum standards to take care of a child, whatever the state looks for. We didn't hear any type of sense of desperation from the people who took these children in and supposedly named them. I'm not seeing any of that.
If they just find them, I just want my kids back to me.
23ABC did speak to
Whatever
the
they want me
biological
to
father
do,
of the 2 missing
I'll do it.
toddlers, who
That's
declined
me.
interviews and wished to keep their names private.
For my
If you have any
kids.
information regarding
Mama's
this
okay,
case, call
okay?
Cal City Police at 760.
Bro, I hate that this newscaster's talking over her. What an asshole.
373-8606.
I mean, there you have it, folks. I mean, in that little minute of footage of the biological mom, we saw just a glimpse of what I'm guessing when she's off camera is just distraught with guilt for even giving them up. Because you also got to listen, you can't necessarily fault someone for giving up their kids. If you could maybe fault them as a person for decisions that they made and the type of people that they are, but you got to give them credit to where they're at least self-aware enough to know, you know what, I may not be able to give these children what they need. So why not give them to a family who will provide for them the kind of nurturing and the kind of things that they deserve? But I'm not able to do that. You imagine how hard it is for a mother to give up her children for adoption. A lot of the times I think maybe it's easy, well, I don't want these kids. But I mean, that woman strikes me as somebody who gave up her kids, and it was probably the hardest thing that she's ever done. And right now, she's regretting it with every fiber of her being. Okay, the state took them, Jilly Bean, you're saying. So, again, yeah, I mean, God, that's even worse. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine being in a position where the state takes my kids that small and they end up in the system and then end up with a family. And then that family could have possibly and even likely, based on what we know so far, had something to do with something happening to them, much less just didn't take care of them. What kind of think about what's going through her head. So they take my kids away because I'm not fit to take care of them, and then they give them to a family that either didn't give a shit enough about them to protect them, or actually did something to them themselves. And here's this woman, probably the state took them because she probably had a drug problem. Who knows what the reasons are? I don't know what the reasons are. I'm sure these other channels that explore this stuff will find out. And Jilly Bean is saying she was doing everything to get them back. And it sounds like it, based on what she was saying. Sounds like she was living her life towards, I mean, think about it. You get your kids taken from you like that, you're probably, that's probably a completely eye-opening experience. It's something that just makes you go, fuck, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up, start making better decisions. I can't be this person anymore. I can't be this person no more. It's not happening. But the thing is, yeah, I was thinking this too. Lucky me, I was thinking the same thing. Once they get adopted, the bio can't get them back. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. But I feel like they could work something out, because it seems like she was in contact with these parents, with the foster parents, adoptive parents. She seemed to know them. They seemed to know her. So they obviously made a decision to where she was allowed to be in their lives to some degree. Even in the slightest degree that she's aware of where they are and what they're doing and how they're growing up, even to that small degree. Right. Unless the adopted family just gave them back to them, but didn't tell anyone legally. Well, that's if they're in foster care, Lufa. That's but what people in chat are also saying, that's because I was wondering that too. I mean, once they've adopted them, that's it's been decided those are their kids. Those are their kids. It's just that's how it is. So there'd have to be something worked out privately between the biological mother and the adopted parents, or the yeah. Julie Bean saying she had home visits before adoption. She didn't know that the state put them up. That's weird. How could she not know that? How could they have done that without her knowledge? I don't see how that's even a thing. Well, it also depends on the state, S.C. Johnson. It depends on the state. Well, I mean, from what it looks like, Danielle King, which would be stupid because that put them at the risk of losing the other kids. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like they give a shit about anybody. I wasn't getting the impression that they care about anybody. That's what I found troubling. Yeah, again, I mean, I'm looking at, they probably just saw those two kids as two extra mouths to feed. That was the behavior they were coming off to me as, was just a couple of people who saw these kids as just extra mouths to feed, because they didn't even have names. Like, remember anybody, if there's anybody listening that's been with me for a while and remember me going over the Letitia Stock interview. The Letitia Stock interview was something else. She had her back turned to the camera the whole time. It was really weird. And I remember saying, I don't know if she's guilty of an actual crime, but I'm telling you, that person that's in that interview is an asshole. So, that's what I'm getting out of these two people. I don't know. We don't know if they're actually guilty of a crime. But I'm looking at two people that don't give a fuck about those two kids. I don't know, man. Yeah, Christola S. I completely agree with you. Yeah, and then she turned out to brutally murder Gannon Stock, an 11-year-old boy. Brutally murder him. There's indication that he was shot, stabbed, and beaten. But I'm not even seeing, I didn't see any concern from these parents for the location of these children. I didn't see any concern. All I saw was excuses as to why they didn't look harder. I'm telling you right now, if I cover this case, I'm calling these people the Magoos. I'm doing it. I don't give a shit. I know I said I wasn't going to mention them. I could change my mind. Damn it. Y'all can kiss my ass. If I want to mention these fools, you know, I earned it. I earned it. I'm telling you. That's what I'm calling them. These are the Magoos of true crime. Sitting up there lying. Sitting up there lying, not giving a fuck about nobody but themselves. I did not know that, Sweet Crazy. That's interesting. That the California City Police Department is privately owned. I've heard about that. I've heard that. You ever see that movie Cuffs? It's a Christian Slater movie from like the early 90s, like 1989, 1990, something like that. And the way it worked, at least in like San Francisco, that San Francisco area, police were privately owned little district police departments that were privately owned. Right? So yeah, it was weird. You could buy, it was a business, and the like the small businesses in the area would pay them for protection, right? So I wonder if that's kind of the thing going on there in California City. I don't really know. Bridget said, "Great movie." No, it's not. It's not a great movie at all. But I did see it a bunch of times. But I was like 13. I saw that movie as many times as I did. But don't mind me. I'm the most critical person when it comes to movies. So yeah, I'm going to be following this case pretty closely. I don't know how much I'm going to be reporting on it, talking about it on here, but I just wanted to go over that video with you guys because it was something that was bugging me. You guys know me. I just like to hang out. So that's all that was. And also to, create more awareness. We want these kids found, man. And if something happened to them, we want justice for them. That biological mom, she deserves justice. And you might not agree, but if these adoptive parents had nothing to do with anything, they deserve they at least deserve closure, even though they don't give me any indication of giving a shit about anything, but yeah, those two were absolutely up there in front of the entire nation, magooing. That's what that's what they were doing. They were just straight magooing. People are full of shit. And I'm mad, dude. I'm mad. I cannot stand. I mean, dude, how do you do something that awful? You know what I'm saying? How do you go through something that shitty and not, because I don't know if they did anything, but how do you not feel like complete and total shit for leaving two small kids unsupervised and a gate open? If that's what happened, how do you not feel completely and totally shitty? My man was like, I don't know. Dude, shut the gate, bro. Shut the gate. Stupid. Oh, thanks, Nancy Eileen. That's nice of you. Thanks for dropping in. All right, so listen, again, when it comes to this case, make sure to follow 10 to Life because she's going to have all the facts. If I'm not caught up at work when she goes live, I will be in that chat. But guys, make sure that you follow 10 to Life because she's going to have all the details in this case, any new updates, everything. She is submerged in it. So, yeah, man. Listen, that's happening. That's happening. That's happening. If I see ever a true crime case in the future and I see a couple acting like that on TV, that's what I'm going to call that. Oh, look at these motherfuckers magooing the shit out of this thing. I'm not taking this shit seriously at all. I'm not taking them seriously at all. I'm just not. But God bless those people in that neighborhood, man. God bless that community. God bless the rest of that family. God bless that biological mother. Because these are people that are genuinely passionate and pissed off that these kids are missing. How do you not? I mean, if you're standing there, dude, how do you not want to just strangle one of them for just grab one of them and shake them for not giving a shit? Yeah, man. Dude, I can't, dude, I might as well get something out of it, Cherry K. I might as well get something out of it. Right? We might as well get something out of it. They deserve to be branded the liars of YouTube. They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. Dude, what they did was so fucking gross, dude. And then they came on here and did not give a fuck about how it affected anybody. It was all about them. So, yeah, man. For the work that the true crime community put in and for what they had to deal with, you're lucky I'm laughing about it now. I'm still pissed. But for the work that the true crime community put in and for the suffering that everybody endured, we get to label them. We get to name the biggest lying pieces of shit after them. We get to, yeah. You remember Kingpin? How if you were totally fucked and totally up the creek without a paddle, so to speak, in the movie Kingpin, you were Munsoned. I don't want to get Munsoned. That's I don't want to get Munsoned. That's what that is. That whole thing was a fucking fiasco. So we deserve to have some laughs at their expense. And for as long as it takes. We absolutely have earned it. All of us, everybody in this chat has earned it. And you get to call anybody a fucking magoo if they're a liar. Look at this fucking magoo. That's gonna stick. That's fantastic, dude. Oh my God. I did not see that coming. Only that could make me laugh while I'm covering a case of 2 missing kids. And I'm not even really covering it. But while I'm talking about it, only that level of shit could make me laugh. That's how lame. Anybody I see, I swear to God, anybody I see who's on YouTube that I catch lying is a fucking magoo. And we've all earned it. We've all earned it. So listen. Moving on. So what I'm doing, as soon as I get off of here, I'm starting Night Stalker, the new Netflix docu mini series, Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, and that is definitely something that I'm going to do a live stream about, at least one live stream about. So all you true crime people that are in the chat, all you people that love true crime documentaries on Netflix, dude, if you binged it already, don't tell me nothing. I mean, I know it's a docu-series. I know what happens. I know about Richard Ramirez, but I'm going to binge it. I'm not going to binge it tonight. It's already 1:30 in the morning. It's almost 2 a.m. But I am going to talk about it. And I hope that I'm going to have a special guest go over it with me here on this panel. So hopefully that happens. It's in the works. We'll see. But I'm hoping with everything I got that happens. But yeah. So make sure you watch it. It's dude, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. I think it's just called the Night Stalker. And it's on Netflix. It just came out today. So make sure you watch it. And then we're going to talk about it. I'm even going to open up the panel. We're going to make a thing out of it. So yeah. Oh, fun fact. So I used to know this guy. I don't even know if I want to name the band, but I used to know this guy who was the singer of this band that was kind of famous. At the time, they definitely made their mark on the post-hardcore scene. Very specific genre. But they made their mark. They did Warped Tour and all that stuff in their time, and kind of, yeah. I saw an article years ago that it was listed that this band's first album was in Richard Ramirez's top 10 favorite albums. Like after he's been in prison for God knows how many years. Yeah. And I'll tell you, my buddy, he wasn't happy about it, you know, like that would bum me out. That would bum me out if I was an established musician and, you know what I'm saying? Like, great. This disgusting son of a bitch who did these awful, awful things loves my record. Nice. That's my claim to fame, bro. You know, that would gross me out, you know? Yeah. It's horrible. Horrible. But I just said I wasn't going to name the band, Yvette. Calm down. Okay? Calm down. Yeah, man. So, Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. This guy was a special kind of piece of shit. And we're gonna once I binge this thing, hopefully somebody else will binge it too, and then we'll be going over it together here. Hopefully. Sorry, I'm looking at chat here. Yeah, this guy was awful, dude. This guy was awful. I mean, this guy fancied himself a rock star, man. Straight up. pentagrams on his hand, wearing sunglasses and smiling and flirting with girls in court. This guy was something else, man. This guy, the audacity of this son of a bitch. Yeah, fuck that. I know I said I'm not going to mention their name no more, but I'd rather brand their asses on YouTube. I'd rather just brand them. Fucking stamp liar by replacing the word liar with the word Magoo. That is my vow. From now on, when I call somebody a liar, I'm calling them a fucking Magoo. All right, y'all. I love you guys. I'm going to call it a night. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.